like, ooh, sausages look like penises. Wow.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Convo Couch. My name is Connie.
I'm Sun.
And we have our very special guest today, Jules Orcullo, who is a fabulous writer and theatre maker.
Hello. Hi.
Sorry. You don't need to respond. Like, sometimes people don't respond, but yeah. So tell us about yourself. Like, what made you get into this creative industry?
That's a really interesting question. I have like a roundabout answer to that.
Go for it.
I've always been interested in the stage. I fell in love with musical theatre as like a young child. My sister was part of that. She was involved in musical theatre as a kid and as a teenager and growing up. Oh. So that kind of like elder sibling vibe like really influences you when you're younger. So I've always been interested in the stage and I've like obsessed over cast album after cast album. But I'd never really let myself think of like performing arts as something that I wanted to do until I was much older. But yeah, it wasn't until like literally years of therapy and one of my psychologists was like, so what do you actually want to do? What do you actually want to do? She like snapped at me.
Wow.
And I was like, I think I want to write plays.
Yeah.
And she was like, we'll go do that then. And I won't out her. I won't say who she is or anything like that. Yeah. And I don't think that's what psychologists are recommended to do just generally. But it really spurred me to action. Yeah. I was working in administration at a disability theatre company in the Central Coast for a little while, just part-time. And while I was doing that, I randomly applied to go on the National Studio with ATYP. Okay. So that's like 5-day writers retreat essentially for young writers to go down to Bundanon and just write a monologue for a bit.
Amazing.
And yeah, I went on that and I was like, whoa, this, I guess it was an education. Those 5 days being in the same space with lots of writers and also like fantastic Australian playwrights, it was kind of a sacred space. It was like, wow, totally. I need to honour this in my life.
Yeah. Amazing.
What do you find are the main differences between the theatre scene in London versus the one here in Australia, Sydney, or...
Size and scale. I think that accounts for literally every single difference.
Yeah.
Or not literally every single difference. That and like the settler colonial state that we live in is the other difference probably.
Yeah.
Which is, I guess, them. It is England. But yeah, size and scale accounts for quite a lot. So I guess the diversity of forms we have here, but I guess not as much of as many, if that makes sense. So if I were living in London, I could probably see stuff that I like forever and not have to venture out. Right. Whereas here, I think I'm forced to see stuff that I probably wouldn't ordinarily get to see. Yeah. And also, there's a lot of support for emerging makers.
Yeah, okay.
So people in their first 5 years of practice, particularly, I think, people of colour and women, there's a lot of support you can find from the government subsidised institutions and organisations. It's great in Australia that people do support innovation.
Yes.
People really support some like subversive things, diverse and form-breaking material. People really value that.
Yeah.
And I quite appreciate that. And I don't know if it makes things easier or if it makes things harder, but it's definitely something that I appreciate. In January, I'm doing a development residency at the Joan in Penrith, and that's an initiative that's launched by Q Theatre called Q Lab. So I'm there for 2 weeks developing a play called 2165, and it's a supernatural two-hander about a mother and daughter who are Filipino-Australian, a mother and daughter who are stuck in a garage and a ghost visits them.
Wow.
Sounds exciting.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's exciting for me because it's about what is paranormal and what is reality and what are our reckonings of knowledge. And it's so it draws upon like pre-colonial conceptions of knowledge acquisition, language, spirituality, and folk healing and faith healing and medicine. So I have two plays, two projects that are about the experience of vaginismus, which is for anyone who doesn't know, an involuntary condition.
So that's actually a real thing?
Yes.
Okay, cool.
It's a condition that I have.
Right.
So it's very personal to my body.
Right.
It's a condition involving the involuntary spasm of the vaginal muscles.
Yeah. Okay.
And so I have two plays that sort of talk about that experience.
Yeah.
And one of them I put on in the UK at a few venues there, which was fantastic, and that was a comedy cabaret sort of idea. And it is about being Philippine ex-Australian in that way as well, because it's about how cross-cultural experience affects our physiology.
Did your parents ever watch the play?
Yes, they did.
What did they say?
Nothing.
Really?
They saw nothing. They came to London to visit me, but in time to see me performing in that play.
Oh, you performed it?
Yeah, so I wrote, performed, and produced.
I thought you were like, I'm not an actor, but you actually act in your own thing.
Yeah, well, I think I consider myself more a performer because the discipline of acting is something that I do, like hats off to you guys, because that discipline of taking somebody else's text or being in a room that's run by somebody else and being porous in that way and training in that way, that's something I don't have access to.
Okay.
Me performing my own works is literally a storytelling thing. Yeah. It's an embodied storytelling.
Sure. Okay.
But yeah, so I wrote, performed, and produced that, and my parents flew in, they came to see it, and I think, as with every single production or performance that they've seen, they were like, that's good. And I think it's more than like truth, it's more than authenticity, it's about investment. Knowing that you care about the people involved or the community that that's
that it represents, that
yes,
is showing.
Totally. Caring about that and having skin in the game really is important when you're making work. I think a lot of the projects that come to the table have been a long brewing process. So this project started out as an exploration of my relationship with my mother. And so the play is called 2165, and it was about, I guess, snapshots of what it's like to have a mother of that sort of generation gap. So 44 years.
Oh, wow. Right. Okay. Yeah. 2165.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yeah.
Okay.
My mum's was 42 when she had me. But,
yes. Wow.
It started out as that exploration, and then I started thinking a lot more about what matrilineal inheritance means within Filipino history.
What does that mean?
I guess what mothers pass down to their daughters or to their non-male children, and how those inheritances and knowledges are kind of marginalized within patriarchy, but also really powerful. I think there's a big tradition of different kinds of faith healing all across the Philippines in different ways, from different traditions as well. So like just non-Western ways of healing, whether that be spiritual or medicinal.
Okay.
And I thought the idea that these knowledge systems are passed down not through universities and not through medical institutions and not through the government, but they're passed down through family.
How do you find inspiration for these kind of stories that you tell? Like, does it just hit you out of the blue, or?
I think, generally speaking, for me, I don't represent writers, but for me, it's like whenever I have a thought that intersects with my experience, or like anything that I want to tweet about.
That's actually a really good idea. You can make some really good stories out of like tweets.
Yeah, things that you do tweet about, but also things that I want to tweet about, but I haven't found the words to do that yet.
So you just kind of write a big text about it.
Yeah. So sometimes I'll be PMSing in a bus and I'll just be like, I gotta write something down.
You find out these details and you just kind of put them all together and mix them all in a jar, and it becomes like this mishmash of like comedy.
Oh, that's a lovely way of putting it. I think the craft of being a writer or a theatre maker is being happy to play and mishmash, but then being judicious to know what is actually going to sing.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
how do you know? That what's going to work?
Just development and collaboration.
Okay.
Yeah.
Being like, guys, I love this part, but do you think this is actually going to work? And people are like, no. And you're like, are you sure? And everyone's like, no. And you're like, okay.
I mean, literally.
Yeah, okay.
And like, this is why I love working with actors in development.
Yeah.
You just put it in front of them and they'll know.
Yeah.
And even if they don't know, they'll put it through their bodies and then you'll know. But generally speaking, like if you're in the theatre space, it's a collaborative thing. Yeah. It's definitely. Like 100% like, this is our community. How do we treat each other in the best way possible to get the most impactful result? Yeah, I'm not interested in like auteuristic theatre. I'm not interested in tortured genius theatre.
Good, yeah. Hey guys, thanks so much for joining us again on the Convo Couch. Thank you so much to Jules for telling us so much about the writing process, what it's like to be in London, and just, how you really put your heart and soul into all the writing. So wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And if you want to find out about any of her upcoming plays or theatre creations, be sure to check out her website that we'll leave down below. Thank you. Bye.
Hello, this is Jules. I'm having such a lovely time on the Convo Couch. Thank you so much for joining us. If you want to get in touch, you can find me at julesorcullo.com. That's JuleSorcullo.com. And there's a contact me section there, and I will be ready for your comments and letters and emails. You can also check out my production company. It's called The Joy Offensive. That's The Joy Offensive, OFFENSIVE. We're on Facebook and we're on Twitter. Check us out. We'd love to have you in the community. See you later, guys. Thanks for watching.